Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Take 5. It's Monday, time to start a new work week, so let's get it kicked off the right way by getting into God's Word a little bit. Yesterday was our Back to Basics Sunday, and yesterday the story that we recapped, that we learned, was from 2 Kings chapter 4, and it was about Elisha, the prophet, and the Shunammite woman. Now, I want to make a few distinctions today. I'm not going to take the time to retell the story this morning or read the story. You were supposed to have done your homework and read the story before the message, and then yesterday I preached the message. And so if you don't know the story by now, once I get done talking, or even now, pause the video and go read it for yourself. But I'm not going to take the time to talk about or retell the whole story this morning, but I do want to make two distinctions here about some of the characters in this story, and then I want to give you the title of the message, obviously. So the story is about Elisha and the Shunammite woman. Now, this man named Elisha was a prophet in Israel, and he was the man of God. He was God's spokesperson to the people, if you will. And I want to make the distinction that this is not the same prophet that we talked about in last month's Back to Basics series. Last month we talked about Elijah with a J at Mount Carmel. And this month we're talking about Elisha. They're two different men, and Elijah was the predecessor to Elisha. Elijah was Elijah was a mentor to Elisha, the man we're talking about today. And in the story that we're talking about today, Elijah has already passed. He's gone on to heaven, and Elisha has taken his place as a prophet in Israel. And the Bible, this particular story is about Elisha's encounter with a Shunammite woman. Now, the Bible doesn't give this lady's name. It just tells us that she was a lady from Shunem, and it tells us in verse number 8, I believe, of 2 Kings chapter 4, that she was a great woman. And then depending on what translation you read it in, it's either going to say she was a great woman or she was a wealthy woman or a well-to-do woman. Yesterday we talked about that description of her, the great, and how I believe that it doesn't only mean that she was wealthy, that she had a lot of material possessions and she was successful in this life, in the flesh, but I believe really what that was trying to say, to describe about that lady, is that she was godly, that she was great in spiritual matters, that she was great in character, she was great in integrity, and she was a godly woman. And yesterday, if you were here at the church with us, we talked about how she was a godly woman, how she was godly in her faith. She had great faith. She was a great servant. She had a servant's heart. This woman was, by all indications in this story, she was a godly woman. And so the Bible tells us in verse number 8 of 2 Kings chapter 4 that she was a great woman. And I do believe that it was indicating that she was wealthy, that she was successful. Her and her husband had built a successful life. But I also believe, more importantly, that is in there to describe her as a godly woman. That she had built a successful relationship with God. She was a godly lady with godly character and godly motives and intentions and a godly heart. She was a godly lady. We talked a little bit about this lady, and throughout this week we're going to do that. The title of our message was just simply, A Great Woman and a Grateful God. A great woman and a grateful God. And make sure you tune in the rest of the week with us, and we're going to talk about this, break this down some, and we're going to talk about this Shunammite woman and Elisha's encounter with her. Hey, I hope you have a great day today. I'll see you again right here tomorrow on Take 5.